Hello and welcome to Winslow Academy. The road to becoming a successful software developer can often be quite complex, so in this video I will break down 4 steps to get you started. The path to success within software development all start with a learning path. So where do one start? Young developers often suffer from the problem of changing direction, which is in the end result in one being master of nothing and thereby a generalist, which is not that good. This often happens when one solely focuses on wanting to try every new framework or look at what program language are the highest, getting the highest paycheck right now, or where are the most job openings right now, and then shifting around based on trends instead of interest. So it's important for one to define what you actually want to learn before you start learning, and thereby making a clear path. For example, one path could be computer scientist, it could be data scientist, it could be machine learning engineer, it could be backend developer or front-end developer. And even though these are different paths, they have certain focus points that differentiate them from each other. So it's therefore important that one understand the differences between them, and once a path has been chosen based on the particular interest that you have or personal goal, it is time to learn how to reach that goal and become a master of your given career choice. And we will look into 4 steps of doing so. The first step is to browse job adverts. So once you have chosen an area which you seem interested in, for example backend development, a good place to start is at job adverts if you have little prior knowledge to the topic that you have chosen. For example, you are new to this software or programming development and you really don't know much about the area. So the reason why this is a good place is because you can, for example, see here I'm at Google Careers, and then I will, for example, say, let's see, product analysis, data science, and then here you can see for the first what the minimum qualifications are at Google. You can also go to Microsoft and any other tech company, but the important stuff is actually what you see here in preferred qualifications, because here you're not only seeing the degree, but you also see that you should have some experience with SQL, and you should, for example, be excellent in problem solving and stuff like that. And then you can see actually what kind of technologies is important for the specific topic that you have chosen. And if we go up here and look at, for example, software engineer, you will see here that, for example, they say Java, C++, C Sharp, Objective-C, Python, and so on, because these are the programming language that is used at this location. And you will see these programming languages in most adverts because these are the most popular at the current time. So it's a good place to start, and then simply just write everything down that you don't know. And that brings us to the second step. So as you are browsing through the job adverts, you will find a lot of information that you are unfamiliar with, which you are to add to a list. So after you are browsing a few jobs, you will start to see that the same topics start to come up over and over again. So you start to write down what you see. So for example, we saw Java before, we saw Python, we saw SQL, we also saw Docker. And then once you have a list of different topics, you will start to investigate these just a little bit. So you, for example, just Google and see what is the first site about this, Wikipedia, for example. So you will see that, for example, Java and Python, these are programming language. Docker is something totally different. And then you can start to make these into different topics, like so, and then you will start to get to know what kind of areas are there really within my given learning path, because then you have something to basically start learning. So based on this and your full list, you will move into the third step, which is to choose a programming language. Now that you have a list of different topics and especially programming language, it's time for you to choose a programming language. So the major programming language nowadays are, for example, Java, Python, C Sharp, Objective-C, and JavaScript, and you will see those in most AdWords, so that will probably also end up on your list of unknown topics. The important part here is, however, that you choose a language and stick to it. So it can be beneficial to just do a little bit of digging, for example 15-30 minutes, where you search for each language and see what exactly are the benefits of this. For example, Java is very good at backend development, whereas Python is the standard within machine learning and stuff like that. The important part is that once you have chosen a language, then you stick to it until you basically master it. First of all, because once you master one language, it will be a lot easier for you to start with a new language because you can use what you have learned from the first language. But if you switch around between them, you will basically never get to master any of them. It's like with a spoken language, for example, English. If you don't know English at all and you just start to learn it in 2 days, and after 2 days you switch to Chinese, then you will not have learned anything basically in English, and you will be terrible at Chinese if you only do that for 2 days as well. So it is the same with programming language, which brings us to the fourth step, where you will be developing a roadmap to mix all what you have learned so far with your list together. So the last step is to develop a roadmap for your learning experience. So I have looked at this GitHub profile. I'll be linking to it in the description, where you can see great example of some roadmaps for 2019. There are for web developers, backend developers, and DevOps. So if you have chosen one of those paths, then this might be a great resource for you. And if not, you should still be able to benefit from the way that such roadmap is structured. So what you're seeing here is that given the path web developer, he has divided it into different areas where you can basically follow a path down between, and then you can see different topics right here, similar to what you have done with your own list of unknown topics. But here he has just connected it all together and made his recommendation of what is important given the given career path. So here you see there is a lot of words, and probably a lot more than you will end up with if you're just making a list with no basic background knowledge at all. So either way, this is a good place to go after you have made your own list to see what has your list and his roadmap in common, and what are you missing and why are you missing it, and get some ideas. For example, here we have backend, where we start up with a language similar to where you had in step 3, choose a programming language, and then you get down to some more advanced stuff which you will probably not have on your list. So this is also a great place to find some inspiration and see how such a roadmap can be developed. And once you have this roadmap, all there is back to do for you to succeed is basically just to keep learning. Go find the resources online. I will also be linking to some places online where you can find resources, and then you just need to keep learning. Learn every day, practice every day, and then I'm sure that you will be successful within your given area. So if you like this video, give it a like and subscribe, and then I will see you next time here on Winslow Academy.